Okay, hello. I don't usually do this, but I'm just about to release another build onto Patreon, and there's a few new things which are maybe not immediately obvious how they work. So just so everybody's clear what the hell's going on. So snapping, you turn snapping on and off with this button. This is not new. And you can also press P to toggle it on and off. So with no snapping, with snapping. So now you can also right click here and turn on soft snapping, which I think was actually, I made that a default, soft snapping. So now this is no longer a toggle button, this is actually a slider. So you click and hold and then drag up and down like that. Or you can just, from anyway, you can just hold down P and do the same like that. So hard snap is exactly what it was before. No snapping is exactly what it was before, but you can also have some value somewhere in the middle. And when you do that, what will happen is, instead of snapping directly to these snapping points, it will sort of, I don't know how you want to describe it, it'll sort of magnetize towards these snapping points like that. So it's sort of like a humanizer, I suppose. So there you go. I don't know if that's useful to anyone, but it is what it is. Okay, the second thing is block squashing is, let's say you have a block with a bunch of modulation on it. So up until now, the way that what happens when you resize a block like this is it just sort of chops it off like that. It just truncates it. But now you can press this button here or use Q to toggle on and off squashing, and so it will do that. It will squash or stretch the block instead. So it will squash the content of the block and also any modulation inside it. Oh yeah, this doesn't work with macros. I spent probably the best part of a month trying to get this to work with macros, and eventually I made the painful decision to just give up for now. I'll get to it in the future. One day I'll make it work with macros, but it's way more complex than you think. So it's just normal blocks right now. You can squash and stretch them. Alright, the next thing is if I just put down a bunch of blocks here. Okay, G and H. If you hold down H and move the cursor left and right, you can insert gaps into the workspace. You can insert a gap by moving to the right, or move to the left to sort of pull the blocks to the right. So H is everything to the right, and G is everything to the left. So you can use it to create gaps in the workspace if you want to do that. Or just mush everything together, I guess. I don't know. It's a bit strange. So is that useful? I don't know. The other thing you can do to create gaps in the workspace now is you can create a meta block. And because you go insert gap, and you can either insert a gap workspace wide, so it'll affect all the blocks on every track, or just for the current track, like that. So it'll basically, if you have, I mean, let's create a better example here. Let's say you have some kind of beat, maybe. Let's just imagine that this is a beat. Let's say you just want to add an empty bar or whatever, or an empty measure. Then you can go insert gap like that, and it will shift everything over. You can also hold down Control and then it will, instead of shifting everything to the right, it will shift everything to the left. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. Create a gap here. See that to the right or to the left? I don't know, you can play around with it, I guess. Hopefully it makes sense. I think that's all the weird stuff. Yes, okay, so there you go. Goodbye.